Can we all join together in Gassho, please? May the life of compassion warm an innate humanity in our hearts, that we may truly appreciate and respect the intrinsic value and dignity of our being. Though our lives are but fleeting ripples in the eternal flow of time, we each leave our unique influence upon our surroundings. May we who have gathered here for the annual Buddhist Church of San Francisco Youth Service, guided by wisdom, vitalized by compassion, continue to awaken the person, both ourselves and others, that we may all fulfill this ultimate meaning of life, which is the realization of our oneness. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Naman Butsu. Naman Butsu. Naman Butsu. Naman Butsu. Okay, good morning. And how are you today? Nervous? I am. Okay, so this being the youth service, I guess it's been our custom to introduce different things that we do here at the Buddhist Church, so that those of you in the youth affiliates are somewhat familiar with our customs and practices. And so one of the things I was suggested to bring up today was Oshoko. Okay? Does anyone know what that word means? Oshoko. It's a Japanese term. Okay, anyone in the youth group? Well, that's why you're here to learn. So, okay. Oshoko is a Japanese word which means burn incense. So it's a incense burning ritual. So you saw all your representatives here just come to the front and do this little ritual. Okay? And then the more important thing is, why do we do this? Why do you think we do this? Okay, so I'll give you one third grader. Well, how old is Kira now? Kiana. High school. Okay. Wow. So about 8-9 years ago. She already that long. Okay, well, anyway. So I was asking that question to a group of young folks, and this one third grader at the time shared her perspective. And I thought it was so wonderful that she had this feeling about what this little custom is about for her. Okay, so anyway, I wasn't watching because there's this big post in the way, so I couldn't see how you folks who came forward to do the Oshoko did it. And I don't know who taught you or instructed you, but anyway, I'll demonstrate, okay, the correct way that we do it today anyway. So, okay, so just to explain, and for the older folks or other people not familiar, for your reference, that as we approach the incense burner, we stop and we place our hands down at our sides, or the women tend to place their hands a little slightly forward. But anyway, we bow from the waist, and then we step forward, and then we take a small pinch of the powdered incense from the red container there, and then we take a small pinch with our right fingers, and we just take it into the incense burner and just sprinkle it over the burning incense. And at that point, we join our palms together in front of our hearts. This is what we call Gassho, by the way. And then we say Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu as we're bowing. Okay? And so then we would step back a few steps again, and hands down, bowing from the waist. So that is the correct way that we're taught we do this little ritual. Okay? And so just to give you a little few anecdotes about it over the years that I've told regarding this Oshoko custom, is once I was about to start a service, and a little kid came up to me and said, "Why do we burn insects?" I said, "What?" He says, "Insects." And that's related to once I was at a temple where we had a preschool. And so one morning, we were explaining to the children how we do this. And I said, "Oh, this is in Japanese called Oshoko. In English, we say incense burning." And then I asked, by the way, do you know what incense is? And so one of the students raised his hand, I know. I said, "Okay, what's incense?" And he goes, bees, ants, termites, grasshoppers. That's the way he heard incense. What was he hearing, actually? Insects, okay? So that's the idea that, we hear things, but we don't necessarily hear them correctly. We hear them through our own thinking. We call it filters of our own experience. So as a preschooler, that was the closest idea that he could associate with the sound incense, okay? And then I was asking the children, by the way, there's all kind of what we call symbolism in incense burning. Or basically everything we do in the temple is symbolic, basically. But one of the things is when you see the rising smoke, okay, what do you think that symbolizes or represents? The rising smoke. What comes to mind when you see the smoke rising? Silence? Quietly rising, moving through the air. No, it's supposed to symbolize impermanence or change. That something's changing very quickly. That's what's generating the smoke. Okay? But when I ask the kids, again in preschool, what do you think the smoke represents? And one smart aleck said, pollution. But that's kind of an interesting perspective too. That it just reminded me of my own pollution. How I create my mental pollution by my selfish thoughts, my anger, my jealousy, and so forth. So that's a nice kind of way of looking at the smoke, thinking about the smoke. But okay, so does anyone know what this is?
Air freshener.
Okay. Did you hear? Do you know what we call this? Well, this particular brand is called Febreze. I don't have any stock in it, but anyway, this is the one I use, okay? And it's air freshener, as Mr. Wooster said, air freshener. And it's something, why do we use it? Do any of your families use air freshener? Or maybe your house is much cleaner than mine. Okay, not even in the toilet?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, anyway, okay. For those of us who use air freshener, why do we use it? Huh? Yes.
For the bathroom?
For the bathroom. Why do we use it in the bathroom?
I don't know.
Okay, if you didn't use it, you would know why. No, it's just to make the room, the air, the space more pleasant. So this incense was, I'm told, what people long time ago, before they figured out how to produce these kind of things, they used to burn certain types of flowers and woods that gave off a nice scent to make the air, the space, more pleasant. Okay, so it was kind of we could call it a spiritual deodorant, a way of making the sense, the space that we're living in, more pleasant. Okay, so here's the main point though. So when I asked this third grader some 8-9 years ago, why do you think we do this? And her response was to show caring, respect, and appreciation. So we present or burn the incense to show that feeling and wish to clear away all the mental pollution, garbage that prevents us from realizing the basic truth of our life, which I like to use the term oneness. The oneness of our life, how everything's connected, nothing lives alone. This is the reality that we're all able to live within. We all live within this reality of the oneness or connection of all life throughout the universe, beyond measure. And that's why our statue represents that idea of immeasurable life, Amida, immeasurable light, compassion, and wisdom. And this is the spirit that we all share in common. And so the Buddha, 2,600 years ago, awoke to that spirit. And he shared that awareness with others. And this is what we are trying to realize and experience, not as a belief, but as a sense of being alive, gratefully for the oneness of life that connects us all. And that's why this symbol of joining our palms together in Gassho is to show that sense of appreciation. And then, I wasn't watching how you folks were doing those shoko, but an important part of doing those shoko is bringing with us what we call, in our tradition, onenju, or these thought beads, okay? And did the representatives have them today? Okay, so we have spares for you to use, or you can even go ask and arrange to get your own. I hope the juniors had their own. Okay, well, if not, we'll make sure you get them. But so this is part of the ritual that we carry onenju, and we walk what we call with mindfully, or just paying attention to our steps. And then I'll demonstrate this tradition, this custom, this thing we do to show caring, respect, and appreciation. Namanda, namanda, namanda.